excited to have the next guest. She's been right over here to my right. That chair is a little...
Yeah, wow.
I'm going to feel really bad if my chair gives out on me. But, so they haven't yet. So what is your name? We'll start
my name is Holly Garrett.
Holly, very
ma'am.
nice to meet you. And obviously a resident of Indiantown.
Yeah, resident of Indiantown. My husband, Mike Garrett, was born here.
Okay.
He's lived here his whole life. All his family lives here. I've been a transplant. I've been here about 8 years. But honestly, I was very much drawn to Indiantown just from the... there's three things about Indiantown, and that's it's a God-fearing city. The people... You can count on them. It's not all me. The people that are here, I mean, how many places can you go to the local lumber store and you'll say, or even the local restaurant and say, oh my gosh, I brought my wallet at home. They'll be like, yeah, when you come back, no problem.
It's still there.
I mean, that just doesn't even exist anymore. And that's what Indiantown is. And that's why all these people are here, is because that's what we want to keep.
And again, we're at Pope Family Park. We're having a meet and greet to talk about the fire and emergency rescue services that are here in Indiantown right now. Martin County has been providing those services.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had any issues with their services over the years?
Actually, there's three reasons I'm extremely passionate about keeping Martin County Fire Rescue here. The first reason is I was at a funeral about 3 years ago at Timer Powers Park for a flight medic who was very well known here. And my blood pressure dropped to 40/60. And they were there, and if they wouldn't have been there as fast as they would have, I wouldn't have made it. Another big reason is my parents, which I will not disclose their age, but I'm in my mid-40s, so that should give you an idea. They both live in Indianwood, and so does my husband's parents. And they're later in life, and if something was to happen, I've known several people in Indiantown or in Indianwood who have had heart attacks, who have, and these things have happened, and if they wouldn't have gotten there when they did, they wouldn't have made it. And to wait for, they're going to have these other services, but if you look at statistics, the most people that aren't working for a county and they're working for private companies, they're kind of like second tier. And a lot of things that a lot of people aren't discussing is, we'll have an ambulance and we'll have a fire truck, but what happens if we need the flight medic? Or what happens if we need something else? Then what's going to happen is we're going to pay a serious premium. So to me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I know that my taxes have doubled in the last year.
Wow.
Just over everything that has gone on. It has come to light that Brown's whole purpose for the council is to do as much spending as possible between now and 2023 or 2025. What happens then is FPL negotiates their contract.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, FPL has made it very, very clear that they're not going up. They can move to Okeechobee. They're not going to pay more. They pay 80% of our tax base.
Yes.
So when Howard Brown was faced with that and we said, hey, Mr. Brown, what happens when they leave? His solution is all these other rooftops that are going to come in. Well, when taxes go to $4,500 a year, the people that are here that made Indiantown won't be here anymore. And then we might as well just be Fort Lauderdale or another big city.
Holly, it's really shocking to hear what you said. And I had mentioned this before, but folks, I'm going to mention it again. FPL pays $4.7 million towards the municipal service, towards the fire and emergency rescue services out of Indiantown's $5.35 million. Mm-hmm. FPL pays that much. You guys don't want FPL to leave.
Oh goodness, no. If they leave, then our taxes are going to skyrocket. And FPL right now, why would they put up with it?
Right.
Why would they put up with it? They could go anywhere. All they have to do is move a building. FPL, what they pay for is intangible tax. And what that means is the equipment that is in their building, which can be located anywhere. It's not like they have a huge factory here and it would cost them millions and billions of dollars to move it to another county. It's actually next to where I live. They built this huge facility, and the transformers, all the equipment that they need to do FPL. So that stuff can be easily moved And they've made it crystal clear that they are not going to pay any more money, and Howard Brown's pretty much given them the cold shoulder saying, well, oh well.
So folks, you need to really pay attention to what your council is deciding, what your city manager is doing, and potentially negotiating with your biggest taxpayer in the community. Again, $4.7 million of the $5.35 Indiantown pays for. Residents, the actual residents pay $231,000, just over $665,000.
Well, I'd also like to say, how many more mistakes are we going to make? You know, I mentioned to my husband when they bought the property over here next to the Shell station they paid $2 million for it. And once it closed, and you know, I said to my husband, why would we pay $2 million for a property when the man doesn't want to sell it?
Right.
Obviously, we're paying a premium for it. We don't need it right now. Why don't we wait? People's circumstances change. The economy changes. Why not wait a little bit? Nope, they pushed through. Brown convinced the council they needed to do it. Now we own a $2 million piece of property that, guess what? It was supposed to house the municipality on, but at the end of the day, our LDRs and our comp plan does not support it, so it's illegal to build anything on it. And where did that $2 million go?
Oh my goodness.
And how many more times are we going to do this?
Make these mistakes. Let me bring up, I'm going to circle back to your heart attack that you spoke of when you first sat down.
Yeah.
Martin County has cross-trained their fire rescue personnel as EMTs.
Yeah.
And they send out an ambulance with every call.
Oh, and they're very good. They're professional. They're good. They've got all of the right equipment. How are we going to know that the equipment? See, the thing is when you start a new company or a new anything, you have to start from the ground up. So you're purchasing everything. Martin County is established. They already have all this, and that's what people don't realize. Not just that, but the council, coming from Howard Brown, I don't think our council is bad. I think they're being given misinformation, and they don't know. They're going through the experts, as they call them. They call Howard Brown and some of these consultants experts. But the problem is they're not looking. 2 + 2 is 4 all day long.
Right.
And at the end of the day, first they tell us that it's going to cost, I think it was $5 million to do this service. And we said, well, wait, Martin County's doing it for 4.8 and they're willing to give us $500,000 back. That doesn't make sense, and it's better service.
Right.
Then they had another meeting, and the guy said, oh, no, now it's only going to cost $2 million. Well, they're trying to fit the narrative, and they're trying to, and that's only for half the services. But the problem is the people in Indiantown, they're not educating them. And that's what our point is today, is to educate the people and to say, look, we're being duped here.
That's right.
And at this point, because it's Martin County Fire Rescue, it's a matter of life and death.
It truly is, and that's something you need to bring up. I asked Linda that was here before you, even if you saved $1 million for Indiantown, is it worth it to you?
Not if I lose my parents or even myself.
Absolutely right. And if you could say something to your council, what would you say to them?
I would honestly say, guys, I think at this point, and I've called each one of you to have meetings with you, which was turned down except for with Jackie Clark. I am meeting her Monday, and Susan Thomas. Guys, I beg of you, right now, you have locked horns because you feel, honestly, and it was said by Janet Hernandez at the last meeting, that you think that the village of Indiantown is calling you guys stupid and that you guys are being hand molded by Mr. Brown. That is not what we're saying at all. What we're saying is, please, let's all get together as a community, look at the numbers, see what makes sense, doesn't. I'm all about saving money, but at the end of the day, if it's going to cost us more and there's no benefit, then we're setting ourselves up for failure. And the sad part is a lot of you guys, I know Susan Thomas Gibbs, her parents live here. I know Janet Hernandez, her parents live here. Our families live here. Your families live here. Are you really willing to put them at risk just because you're upset because we're protesting? And that was my whole reason for wanting to meet with each of you guys, to say, let's stop the protest, let's stop the thing, let's all sit down as a community and see what makes sense for our community. I will be the first to say that I was not for incorporating in the beginning, but we're here now. And there's nothing we're going to do about it. But if we keep making these bad decisions, it's just going to implode.
It's going to multiply. And one thing I will say that, folks, you just mentioned that the council came back and said that, it's now $2 million less, or the experts came back. People, how many times does your government tell you something's going to cost something, and it always
Costs
more. It never costs less. And being they started out with a much higher figure, the 4.6, 4.8 million, and then all of a sudden magically it's now down to 2 million with less services. This is kind of like a shell game. You want to make sure the council members are truly vetting the information they're getting, and my goodness, be transparent. Listen to your constituents, because after all, they do work for you.
Well, and the big thing is this $5 million does not include Lifeline. It does not include backup services. It does not include when there's multiple, which there has been. We've had several fatalities right here on the main road here.
The Warfield?
Yeah, on Warfield. So that's the thing they're not getting. If someone has a heart attack over here and we have a fatality over here, and people, oh, well, that's almost never going to happen. What happens when it does? Martin County, then, are they going to come and, now they have to disrupt their services to come into ours? How much more are we going to have to pay?
And it's something you'll have to pay for it. You're no longer contracted with Martin County.
Correct.
So 911 services, there's another thing. So, Hallie, thank you so much. I wish you well tonight. I appreciate you stopping by here and talking with me.
Thank you.